everyone. I'm very glad to meet you here virtually in our class. And I would like to deliver my lecture. And the title is about visual ethnography application on product design. Before I present my lecture, let me introduce myself first. My name is Gregorius. You can call me Pak Greg. It's quite easy to remember, yeah. And then if you have any question further after this presentation, you can deliver your question and we can make discussion after the assistant of this program can deliver your question to me. Okay. The title about visual ethnography application on product design itself is to see the relationship between the ethnography, especially the visual ethnography, and how it rules in the product design adding values. So if we see in the context of our everyday life, we are surrounded by the cultural product of our community. For example, I live in Yogyakarta. You know, Yogyakarta is very famous with the traditional Javanese culture. And the people here still live this culture into their daily life. And also, I think some of you live in the environment which is still live their own culture, the local culture. And here, the visual ethnography, we can see how the local culture can be expressed into our product design things like our everyday life stuffs, like bag, our t-shirt, our outfit, the other outfit, and also, yeah, perhaps gadget like handphone or another electrical tools. Before I continue about how the ethnography being part of the product design strategy or product design important factor now, I would like to see the context about how we put the ethnography studies or analysis into the whole framework of what we call the design innovation. Here, the design innovation surrounded by the three circle of the first is technology, the second one is about business, and the third one is human values. And we can see in this graphic diagram, in human values, we can see in the breakdown, there are psychology, anthropology, sociology, and then ethnography here. Yes, ethnography related to the human being and value that we live and we dealing with every day on the basis of everyday life. The human value itself is, I think, is varied in different kind of cultural, yeah. And I do believe also, even though in Java, for example, we have several tribes. Even in Javanese tribe, we have also several different sub-tribe. Yeah. So every tribes, I think they develop their own values regarding the way how they live this world, how they face the everyday life, and how they make their own perhaps like technology, way of life, and etc. And etc. And I think in this context we can see how the relationship, for example, the human value that included sociology or anthropology and ethnography, make intersection with the technology. Technology here is for the feasibility of our product design. And then the human value is related to usability and desirability of the product design. And the intersection between technology and human value, there are design and interactivity. This is what we can break down into several items like visual thinking, design for sustainability, aesthetic and form, and also human-computer interaction, for example. And on the other situation, the human value make intersection with the business, where the business itself is for the viability of the product design. And in the intersection between the human values and business here, we can see the organizational behavior. Including in this intersection, there are management and teams, human resources, organizational dynamics, and also negotiation. Okay, we will jump into what so-called user experience design. In the short word, they mentioned about UX. UX itself is founded by the Nielsen Norman groups, which defines UX as encompassing all aspects of the end user interaction with the company, its services, and its product. It means that the Nielsen Norman group realized that there are relationship, a very tight relationship amongst the users and also the company which produce the product design. I think the relationship between the user as the consumer of the product design and the product design itself is very important thing here, because this UX, they mention about what we call user experiences. So when somebody use some product design, some product, they not only use this product just only for the purposes of its function merely, but also some of these users have the very extended expectation beyond the usability of this product. Sometimes they want to make this product can be used as the representation of their social status, for example, like what we have different kind of cars or personal belonging like houses, etc. Some part of this product can be seen as the representation of the social status of the people who belongs this property or this stuff or these products. Yeah. So using the term user experience design, it means that we realize that the relationship between the user and the product itself, there is an experience. So at this critical point, we put the ethnography studies or analysis as the very important theory or analytical tools to see how the user can develop their own experience with the product which is used by them. And if we see here, it's quite clear that the user research, they are involving the ethnographic research, and also the method about what we call the in-depth interviews. Intersection between the ethnographic research and in-depth interviews is there is a contextual inquiry. So here, the researcher, they want to know about the the cultural background or social background of the potential user of his product. And then they want to know more deep about what is the needs of the user, the potential user, regarding the product they will produce. And then how to see the expectation or the needs of the potential user is by making research about the social and cultural background, for example, theoretically, because they can use the references or expert opinion about this group of people as the potential users. And also they can use some other references like a manuscript or something that explain about who are the potential users. Or in actual way, they can also use the method, what we call in-depth interview, where the researcher can make some investigation about the personal expectation of the user. So as a group of people, perhaps we can use the cultural and social background because it's more collectively needs among this member of the population or community. But individually, we can use this method in-depth interview to see more clearly and more concrete about what the personal expectation upon the product they will use. Okay, if we see in the right side of this slide, we can see the product design life cycle, where we can put the user research in this following, I don't know, it's linear process. Yeah, we can use the midst of this process, like we call it here analysis. So in analysis, we can use the information, the structural information of our research, user research, to be considered. Because here the product designer, they really care about what is the expectation, what is the characteristic of the group of population, for example, group of potential users, and what is the cultural or social background about the potential user that can be considered as the important or significant factors that make some changing or factor for the variable that can make the differences of the product. I mean, in a certain way, the researcher can contribute some important information to the designer, because after they deliver this information, the designer must be transformed this information into designing process. So in designing process, there will be dealing with technology, for example, like the previous slide, and also economic factors, and also human being value. So putting the human value here means that together with the technology factors and economic factors, we can develop a more comprehensive design consideration about our product. And then after the analysis, the designing process, and then production. And we can make a circle or feedback again with the strategy. If we evaluate the product during the process of production, if there is a failure or the user have some resistances about this product, so we can make evaluation and starting again with the first step and then following by the next steps until we have the final production or design. And what is the ethnography itself? Yeah, ethnography means writing about people. So everything data about writing about people, about their habits, about their behavior, about their character, about their emotional, about their expectation, about their value, and many things is studied in what we call ethnography. So if we want to put some research based on this ethnography discipline, somebody must be fluent in the language of the people we study, because we study about the people. So the first requirement is we must eligible to be fluent in the language of the people we research or we study. And the second requirement is to study everyday life of these people. We must spend a bit long period of time observation. It means not only 1 or 2 weeks or months, even though we can passing through this study into 1 or 2 years even. Some research even more, they consume more times than 2 years. And the third requirement is we need to stay in a specific location, or such as a village or part of a big town where the population or community group of people live, and we study about their habitat. So by stay in the sites of this group of people, we know exactly what is their everyday life, socio-spatial condition, and also how they interaction among this population, and also how they deal with the foreigners or stranger, for example. And then the fourth requirement is we need to establish a mutual trust with a full range of local people. I mean here that if we want to gain, to grasp the more detail about these people with the method of in-depth interview, we need to be trust. Because these people cannot deliver more personal data to a foreigners they never know or they never trust. So making a trust among this community to the researcher is part of the very critical and very important process. So I think the ethnographer or ethnographic researcher, they have a very good communication. So this is makes sense if in the first requirement, it is mentioned that the researcher must be fluent in the local languages which used by this group of people. Okay. And then visual ethnography work, proposes by using the symbols through photographs and films. The researchers recorded this situation phenomena as a valuable data to be studied. So visual ethnography always use these two media, like a film and photography, photographs, yeah, because by using this documentation, especially in this time, we have the digital technology, so it's quite easy to save or to maintain, even to refine the quality of the photographs or the documentary film. This is very important because some researchers, they must live in the remote area. Sometimes they cannot stay on the specific site of the group of people, but they must deliver some information from the field researcher into the office analysis team. So this kind of digital gadget or digital media very helpful and very supported to make this gap or physically gap can be bridges. Yeah. So visual ethnography here is to be analyzing human behavior through the lens of a camera. It means that the man behind the camera will have the authority to framing the situation. This is why we use film as the tools, because the film can capture every single second of the phenomena. Different with the photographs. Photograph is we are framing in the certain second of the phenomena, not continuous recorded, but is partially recorded. So the technology now can make some good quality of the photographs by cutting the part of the film or documentary film. So it doesn't matter now if we only use the videography or the film to capture the phenomena of the everyday life of this group of people, because after that we can make some cutting or slicing some part to be framing into a certain purposes. Yeah. Okay, so this is why the digital technology very important now into this visual ethnography research. Okay, now we can go into what is the application of visual ethnography into our product design. Here I put the slide which consists of the illustration of the local people in Asmat, one of the very famous tribe in Papua. This is internationally famous because some of the researchers and also the visitors spread out the information about this unique and special tribes in Papua, because they have the cultural and local competence that everyone say that the quality of this competence is very, very excellent. In terms of the quality of cultural product, the aesthetic of this tribe is also globally can be accepted as the one of, I mentioned about the prehistoric or primitive thoughts, but with a very good quality. So the popularity of this tribe is more widely in global scope. So this is also the benefit of these people, these local people, when their identity, which is expressed by their product, like outfit, how they make some fashion, or they make up their face as a symbol of certain occasion, like a tribe war, for example, or some certain occasion during the life cycle of these people, from born, live as a teenager, children age, or the adult period, and then to be senior, and then when they pass away. There are many of a symbol that can be seen until now. Is very well conserved in this tribe, and even we the global community or global society can see the life cycle of this tribe by adopting some photographs about those special occasions. Yeah, like this photo. If I present this one and I ask you, some of you perhaps simultaneously or spontaneously thinking about something related to this photo. For example, someone perhaps asked questioning in their mind or his mind, what kind of coloring material they use to this kind of outfit, or what kind of purposes, why these people using a wooden piercing in the position of nose. But this is not his nose, but this is like part of the mask that used to be a nose of this fish here. And then many questions will appear in your mind. Even in my mind, I also questioning about the color itself. Why they use this color between the red and terracotta or something like orange, like that? Is it coming from the local material, like from the earth or the clay they have, or mud, or something from the trees? I don't know. I'm questioning myself about this photo. So this is the way how the visual ethnography can developing the research question. And then the researcher will be following up this question to the more inquiry data, and then they can develop more information into a very structural data. So from only one photos, people can develop some good narration about what is the phenomenon of this capturing photo. Okay, this is why the visual ethnography during the period of our history is very important to describe or define the character of the group of people. For example, like these tribes, the Asmat tribes. Of course, in this situation or in this case, we need some good interpretation about this fact. And this is why we need expert judgment or expert opinion. Usually, these experts have their own expertise because they have background in the ethnography studies or anthropology or sociology. So not everyone can make a very precise interpretation about this culture. Even though now everyone can have their own perception about this photo here. Yeah, this is another phenomenon that is captured by the photographer. This is like a corpse, the ancestor corpse that can be that still be treated as the living human being. I don't know why they still use this kind of pretending action that these ancestors still live. Perhaps they have their own value, how they make some adoration to their ancestor, even though they are already passed away, but these people still believe that this ancestor is still living among them. So this phenomenon can be captured with a different narration. For the global community, perhaps they will have another perspective about what is the value about the life before the death, or what is the perspective of the Asmat people seeing the life after the death. So here is some part of a small puzzle that we can see here with our own interpretation about this photo. Now, how this information about the Asmat tribes can be expressed or applicated to the product we have. Like here, there are some, some feature with a very good photo can be put into the side of the handphone casing design. On the other situation, we can see the photo back here being ornamented by the illustration of the lady from Asmat. On the left side, there is a figurative character of the young Asmat that be seen here as the illustration of the t-shirt design. So this is how to transform the information about Asmat and how the people in the modern situation on the global population can interpret what they see from the photo of the Asmat people. This is another tribes in Indonesia, in Toraja. Toraja also one of the famous tribe internationally because of their conserve several cultural products, including the ornament, mosaic, or the house of the houses, the traditional houses. Here, some designer just putting the character of the mosaic, the carving mosaic of the Torajan houses into the font designed by the designer. So this alphabetical character being used to another product like the packaging of the coffee. Also here is another mug can be used with this character of alphabetical tribal ethnic design. This is that I mentioned about the wood carving pattern. We can see in the right side of the slide, the young girl in Toraja wearing the traditional outfit, which is very similar. The ornament is very similar with the wood carving pattern here in the left side. Another thing here in packaging, the designer putting another value about experience. They put some part of Torajan house, traditional house photo, just to remind everyone that love to drink the Toraja coffee, to remind them about the situation perhaps, or atmosphere of the traditional Tongkonan. We call it Tongkonan house in Toraja. This is the added value in this product because by using this photo, the designer want to attract people to remind them about their experience during their visiting in Toraja. This is an effort to gain the attention of the potential consumers of this coffee product to see the coffee, the relationship between coffee and the atmosphere where when they're visiting Toraja house. So this is another smart strategy, I think. So another situation with the tribal ethnic design, we can quite easily find in hotels, for example, like this one is a beach towel. Sometimes hotels will try to attract people, the potential visitors or potential customer of this hotel, to be engaged with the local culture, and how they can be engaged into atmosphere of the local culture is by using the everyday life household stuff like the beach towel like this, which is express some part of this cultural taste. For example, the ornament of the, I don't know, is outfit or something else. But here it's very clear that the purpose of this ornament into the beach towel is aimed as a tools to remind people, the hotel visitor, to the experience they ever has during their vacation, for example. The other stuff, the hat with also the ornament of the tribal ethnic design. This is another ethnical patterns that we use in several paper, for example, but this paper is also can be used for the tiles or the wallpaper, for example. Like this one, this is wallpaper, which is very close relationship with the ornament that remind people about China. So this is like the tools, like the stimulus ornament that make people reminding about the experience during several time in the certain place. Like this one is related to the China. The other one is about Morocco. Perhaps some people still have the collective memory about Casablanca, the very famous city in Morocco that make this country is one of the most destination in the world. Because of the people experience about this place, they feel about the African with the different taste or atmospheric, like Islamic atmosphere, but yeah, influenced by the European atmosphere and culture, and some part is also very influenced with the character of geographical African site. So the Morocco is very famous because of this collective memory about this place. So when somebody want to use this value about the Morocco and put them into the product design, they will get opportunity to getting the attention of the potential user of this product. So I will go to our local product here in Yogyakarta. I have a friend. She one of the founder of this Lawe. Lawe is like a community social enterprise that want to transform traditional handwoven into a more functional product by empowering the local women. So this company actually, they have two sides. One side is more business oriented, profit oriented, and the other side is more like social enterprises. And in these social enterprises, they put their ideal and vision and mission about how they conserve the local traditional cultural product like fabrics here. We call it lurik here. That is one of the endangered cultural product in Jogja because of the producer of this kind of fabrics remain only one family. Before, there are several group of a community that still producing traditionally this kind of handwoven, but now because I don't know, because of the modernization or different way of life, make this this production of the local handwoven decrease very critically. So there is only one family remained now, which is still produce this this traditional handwoven. So Lawe want to conserve by transform this kind of fabrics, traditional fabric, into a more stuff that more have a very tight relationship with the modern way of life. For example, like this product, yeah, some dolls for the children, and also some accessories for the ladies, like a small wallet. I think by using or applying this fabric into the more modern lifestyle stuff, Lave have the very good strategic how the demand of this traditional handwoven will be increased significantly. This is the photo that that's showing us about how empowering the local people. Also, one of the very good and strategic propaganda of this company. And the other thing is when this Lawe also wants to conserve the natural environment. For example, like this, they make some narration related to the endangered creatures like this bird, Kacamata Sangi bird. They want to put this campaign about how to conserve these endangered creatures of this local birds in Kacamata Sangi by using the composition of its color into this product. So this color is composed by using the composition of the natural color of this bird. So by using this similarity, Lawe wants to make some propaganda to remind people about how they put some donation by buying this product. If they buy this product, it means that they make a bit donation to the institution which is put their concern into conservation of these endangered creatures. I think it's like a very smart strategy to make some propaganda into their product. Yeah. Another way is this is the traditional batik motif that is applied into a modern football team jersey. It's also how the local traditional make dialogue with the modern outfit about the sport. Sport wear here is very important because this football team is one of important social asset in Yogyakarta. And I think in many cities in the world, they have their own favorite club or football team. So when everything worn by this team, like the jersey, this is the place where everyone can put something that will have value because of the reputation or the fanatism of the supporter. I think when somebody put like this one, the local batik motif, the people of these supporters can be more pride of the local product. So this is like the strategy. Yeah, I think the combination between the commercial side and on the other hand is the local pride side. So two different value will be joined together, blended into this kind of design of the jerseys. This is another way to express the local batik into the sportwear, yeah, like shoes, sneakers. Also, this one into the T-shirt. I think it's more ornamentation of the T-shirt. I don't know whether the T-shirt is still functional as a T-shirt or just aesthetic or as the souvenirs. And the other one is the necklace. I think every cultural background or cultural tribes, they have their own and similar way of life where they express their aesthetic into their outfit. For example, like this one, necklace everywhere in the world, they have their own design, but mostly they have the similar situation. And now the modern people prefer to choose the necklace which is conveying the local culture, for example, the tribe's aesthetic or the tribe's ornament into this functional necklace. In Indonesia, for example, many researchers and designers, they also searching from the past. For example, like this one. This is the photo of the local statue, the Queen of Singhasari, called Pratnya Paramita. This statue is very beautiful. Even the quality of the carving is very excellent because this carving can show us about the past outfit, the fashion in the past during the Singhasari era. It means like the 10th century, 10th century, or I think, yeah, 10th or 11th century. And then here, some replication of this outfit, the ornament, now revitalized into the modern batiks, for example. So doing some design research is also can be started with the understanding about the past. Sometimes the material from the past can be recalling back here in the actual situation and to be revitalized, and also to make people more concerned about the history, for example. So by conserving the history value on one side, simultaneously we also get the more value into our actual situation with the previous value, which is revitalized into our modern stuff. This is the other example about the local necklace in Jogja. It's made by my colleague, my friend, but she passed away. But now this company still continues. Her daughter continue this design product. And I think this is one of an excellent company in Jogja, which is dealing with the local fabrics. And she transformed these local fabrics into a more valuable stuff like a necklace like this. Okay, this is all of my lecture. And I think, I do hope also, you can widening your perspective about how we can put the understanding about the history, about the cultural context into a very modern way of thinking. I mean, when we expressing our product design with the value added value from the past, like this one, from the cultural background, from the social context, that make our product not only aesthetic or functional, but also can be used as the conveyor to express our idealism. For example, when we put our concern about how to conserve the traditional, how to conserve the value from the past, how to conserve the historical site, how to conserve the cultural, traditional or cultural product. So thank you very much for your attention during my lecture. I do hope also we can see you in our discussion. Thank you very much.